Very good evening, Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan. I hope you had a wonderful day today. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Sai Satcharita, the life and teachings of Shirdi Sai Baba. We'll continue from where we saw. Chapter 29, A Narration of Stories of Dreams. We'll be beginning with a new story today. Now listen to one more interesting story which will enhance the devotees' love for Baba and give joy to the listeners. A doctor, Captain Hate by name, was a faithful devotee of Baba. This is the fascinating story of how Baba appeared to him in a dream he had at dawn. Hate lived in Gwalior, and it is there that he saw Baba in a dream. Just see Baba's skills in asking questions and what Hate said to him in reply. Baba said, "Have you forgotten me?" Hate at once caught his feet, saying, "If the child forgets this mother, where will he find refuge?" He hastily got up and went out into the garden, from where he plucked some fresh bal papdi. He also gathered together other uncooked provisions like rice, pulses, flour, etc., and some cash as dakshina, and thus prepared a special offering with great devotion. On completing the preparation, as Hate was about to offer the scuttle basket containing all the things, suddenly he opened his eyes and knew that it was just a dream. He felt that he must get hold of all these things at once and offer them to Baba, personally going to Shirdi, especially for the purpose. But at the time, he was in Gwalior, so he wrote a letter to a friend in Bombay, Kaka Sahib Dikshit, narrating the incident of dream and requesting him to go to Shirdi personally. He wrote that the money would come by post, with which he should buy the proper provisions, including the best available variety of the vegetable wal papdi, which somehow or other he should obtain. The remaining money should be taken to Shirdi to be offered along with the other provisions. After making obeisance, the prasad should be asked for which then should be forwarded to Gwalior. As soon as the money arrived, the friend went to Shirdi, bought all the ingredients, but had some difficulty in getting bal papdi. Suddenly, a basket of the vegetables arrived. The woman carrying it on her head was called at once, and when it was found that the basket contained the very bal papdi wanted, all were greatly astonished. Then all the ingredients were brought to the mosque and offered to Baba. He gave them to Nimonkar, who cooked the food on the morrow and offered it as Naivedya. Later, Baba sat down for his meal, but he did not even touch the rice or dal. He only picked up the vegetables to everybody's surprise. He ate only the vegetable, bal papdi. It was only the bal papdi that he put in his mouth. When Hate came to know of this, he was full of joy. As the devotion in his mind, so was also Hate's experience. But now, listen to the marvel of the story that follows. It will show how sweet is the indulgence by Sai. Okay, this is very, very beautiful. If the Guru wants some offerings from you, he will come and remind you of it. Either it is your vow that you have taken that you need to offer something to the Divine Master or God Almighty. He will ensure that he will by any means get it from you. There are times when people make a vow and they will completely forget about it. But the Divine Almighty Lord will remind you, just because you should not incur any karma or sins. Because when you have committed, you have to keep it up. My Krishna Guruji will remind me many a time. He'll say, you have committed some of these things and you've conveniently forgotten. So please remember that you should do it, okay? But his way of saying is not like this. He'll very cutely say, what he'll say during our breakfast. Usually there will be some kind of discussions. It's all about teaching, okay? My Guruji at all times will only teach, but in a very humorous way, sometimes jokingly, jestingly, different ways he'll teach. And yesterday, this morning, he was reminding me, we used to every single day, early morning, in our breakfast, there will be one sweet, okay? It could be anything. One sweet will always be offered. as part of the breakfast. And this morning he says, look, this plate is empty. I know there are promises about chakli, besan laddu and all these things, okay? So we discussed all of this. So that's a reminder to me. And meko kuch bhi nahi hai khane ke liye, like a sweet child, my Guruji will say, how sweet it is. Kuch bhi nahi hai, meko thoda sa mitha chalega, he'll talk like this. And then literally like a child, reminding the mother, oh look, you've not made any of these things, you promised it, that's how my Guruji will talk. And then this morning he reminded me, I'm like, oh my god, there is so much that I got to do and I'm running a rat race against the time. And also next week being the Ghatastapana, we have Navratri starting, there's so many things to complete, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to finish this promise. In a day, I wish I have 48 hours, but my Guruji will always say, when you learn to do everything in time, time will keep up with you. But when you always delay, time is never going to be there with you. You need to learn to respect time. So you have to pack in a day so many different things. And this morning, that is one of the things we did. We planned everything, despite all that, literally flew from one place to the other, to the other, to the other, and didn't stop or break for a moment. And during all that process, plus my office calls, so that's how my Guruji will want us to be. You have to be always on the toes, and you have to pack too many things in a day. And this is what he's talking about, saying, you are that Durga Ma. You have 10 hands, so you can do 10 things at a time. So why do you think that you're only going to achieve one thing? So planning is a must, and timing is a very important element. And I keep reminding this to you all, that time is the essence of Lord Shri Krishna himself. So please, when you want the time to be on your side, you need to learn to do things in time. This is a great and a very important lesson my Guruji has been, it's like rehashing, I wouldn't say, saying the same things over and over and over and over again, a million times, a billion times, and a trillion times, reminding all of us, you need to be active, you need to be fast, you need to do too many things. So this morning, this whole day today was a madness to get a lot of things done. And then I was reminded very cutely by my Guruji, and I'm like, okay, I have to plan in the next few days. I wish I will do it. But you know what? There is a problem. The moment you commit to your Guruji, it's always like when you say to your master, in front, I will do this. This I is a very detrimental thing because it's an ego. So when you say anything from your mouth, please remember that you're going to fail in that. You're never going to keep up. Why? Because you need to put a lot more efforts, because the divine wants to see how much efforts and whether you will keep up your word or not. So there's always a challenge. So instead, you just have to quietly do it and don't talk about it. So the lesson here is that you have to silently just go do it. Like Nike, my Guruji always will crack this joke. Just do it, Nike, he'll say. So here also, it is extremely important that any vow that you take or commit, you have to keep up to that. And it shouldn't be at a point where, you have to be reminded. Never be in that stage. We all go through, because whatever you commit, sometimes you do forget. So, and you're going to get those reminders from the Divine Almighty, the great masters, in different ways. So let's see what happens now. Why did only Baba eat only the Bal Papdi? Okay. A desire arose in Hate's mind that he should have in the house a rupee, which is sanctified by the touch of Sai's hand, and Sai fulfilled his wish. There are thousands and crores of impulses in the mind. Abandon the evil ones and pursue the good. And then see Sai's skill, how he stands behind his devotees in full support. Once a good desire arises, it does not take even a moment for it to bear fruit. At that very moment, a friend desiring Sai's darshan was about to get out eagerly for Shirdi. Of course, the desire should be good, and Sai will fulfill it. It is in his power to indulge one who is fond of good, righteous thoughts and conduct. Very lovingly, Hati then gave 1 rupee to that friend, saying, "Do not forget, put it in Baba's hands." When the friend went to Shirdi, he at once took Baba's darshan, lowered his head on his feet, and sat in front of him. When Baba put out his hand for dakshina, he first offered his own, which Baba put it in his pocket. Without a moment's delay, then he took out Hate's dakshina. With folded hands, he put that rupee too in Baba's hand, saying, "Dr. Hate Ascend this dakshina with me. This Sai, who dwells in the hearts of all, knew Hate's wish. Though Hate lived in Gwalior, he sat gazing at the rupee. Overwhelmed with love, Baba held the rupee in front and kept on staring at it. People watched Baba with amazement. With the right thumb, Baba repeatedly tossed the rupee in the air, catching it again in his hand. After playing with it in this manner for a moment, he then returned the rupee. He said, "Give this back to him, to whom it belongs. With it, take this Udi Prasad and tell him we do not want anything of his. Be at ease." After prostrating in obeisance at Baba's feet, he kept the Udi Prasad away safely and, taking Baba's leave, returned home to Gwalior. On reaching Gwalior, he gave the rupee to the doctor and narrated all that had happened. Hate was overcome with love as he heard it. He said, "What I had wished for, what I had resolved, so did Baba satisfy my wish, knowingly well what my heart's desire was." But although this is what Hate felt, it was only his own notion. For who can understand the plans, the purpose that the saints have? Absolutely true. See, we think the Gurujis are doing certain things for a certain purpose. And we also have a very limited capacity that our mind can even decipher certain things or understand the ways of Gurus. Nobody can fathom the ways of the Gurus. It's like here it is mentioned, it is our notion to believe that is what Baba thought, that is what Baba did. And by, when you watch the Gurujis, you think they are doing it based on what you have said or what you have asked for. But you don't know the deeper purpose of it. Whenever a Guruji acts, whenever a great master does something, there is definitely a bigger purpose behind it. And that is something we cannot ever understand. So let us see what it is. But although this is what Hate felt, it was only his own notion. For who can understand the plans, the purpose that the saints have? And yet, if we were to say so with any certainty, look at another experience, which is just to the contrary. Ultimately, the saint alone knows his own wishes. To one, he gives back his rupee. As for another, he puts his rupee in his own pocket. How can we definitely state any reason for it or what Baba had in mind? Only he knows his own reasons. We can only watch his sport without losing such a wonderful opportunity. Listen to a story in this context. Once, Vaman Narvekar, whose love for Baba was boundless, brought a beautiful 1 rupee coin to offer to Baba with great devotion. On one side of the coin were engraved the figures of Ram, Lakshman and Sita, and on the other side was a beautiful figure of Maruti with folded hand. The purpose in offering it to Baba was for the touch of Baba's hand, after which it was expected to be returned, along with Udi Prasad. Hence it was placed on Baba's hand. Baba, of course, knew what was the wish in everybody's mind. Yet, as the rupee fell on his hand, he immediately put it in his own pocket. Madhav conveyed to Baba what Vaman Rao wished for and urged him sincerely to return the rupee. Why give it back to him? No, it is to be kept for ourselves, said Baba, quite clearly and in front of Vaman Rao. And yet, if he will give rupees 25 as its price, I will give him this rupee instead. So Baba said. Then for that 1 rupee, Vaman Rao hastily procured them for 25 rupee from different places and gave them to Baba. Those 2 were put in his pocket, as before, saying, even if heaps of rupees were brought, they will not weigh as much as this one. Their worth is much less than this. Turning to Shama, he said, take this for you, Shama. Let it be in your collection. Keep it in the shrine and worship daily. Now, who had the authority to question, why do you do this? For Sai knows surely what is proper and what is not. He alone is the power that gives us and takes back too. And so, as we wind up this tale, let us give some rest to the listeners' minds, whereby they can reflect and contemplate upon the story they just heard. This is very, very true. When the Guruji says, you keep this over here, There is a purpose, and you cannot question the authority of the great masters. There is a reason, and this is something unfathomable. There was a purpose that it has to go to Shama or it has to go to somebody else, or he says you have to keep it in shrine or keep it in Shirdi, whatever that the case might be. And if Baba is taking that 25 rupees too, please know that he's in some way redeeming your sins, or he's doing it because you have to get some knowledge in spiritual or some spiritual way, or you need to get some money. I don't. The reasons could be endless. But what is that, we don't know. But you know what? The most important thing you need to understand: whatever the great masters do, the gurus do, it is for solely for your good alone. There is definitely some well-being which you don't know at all. So never question it and don't feel bad. Oh, I desire that this 1 rupee be kept in my puja room. No, it doesn't work like that. I'll tell you a very beautiful story relating to my own experience with my Krishna Guruji. We had gone to Nepal, and there we bought this shaligram. I was quite fascinated with that, and my Guruji, had kept it, in the family he was living at that time. I was very much because we went and selected, and it was very cute, and he gave me a very beautiful story about it. So I was quite attracted to that. And later I was telling, can you bring that shaligram? And my Guruji sweetly said, no, that let it be there. We will buy another one. Don't worry about it. I said, Guruji, even I would like to have the shaligram, and I want to pray every day. So my Guruji said very sweetly, don't worry, it will come. When the time is right, we'll get it. Don't worry about it. So what happened? One of his students who was living here, and he had a shaligram which was given by one of the students' gurus, some family guru, and they had it with them. A very beautiful one. And then this student of his the entire family moved to US. And also what happened, his mother in some time, she passed away. And after that, there was nobody to, take care of it. And he was in a dilemma that who to give. And before that, he was thinking whether he could take it with him to US. And my Guruji said, in the security, they will not let you, because then they'll say this has, I think there's some, I forgot what is it called. It's sort of a worm. I forgot. I can't remember the name. What is it called? So it's a fossil, right? Yeah, it's a fossil. So you cannot take it into the US, and the immigration will not let you, and then they will cause trouble to you. So at that time, my Guruji and myself had gone to visit him. And during that conversation, I happened to mention, look, we at Krishna Ashram will be extremely happy to, take it and worship it for you. And that's going to be doing a lot of blessing, punya. Punya means it'll do a lot of good, and we will be the ones who can take care of it very well, because we revere anything that is God here. Absolutely. And then my Guruji also mentioned, of course, yes, you can give it to us and we'll keep it with us. And then, what happened? Just to make sure that he's convinced, in his dream, his father comes and tells him, you should leave it with Guruji. And then he was absolutely convinced, oh yes. And then he came and handed the shaligram to us. Very beautiful. And we have kept it in our puja room, and we pray to it every single day. For us, everything is Lord Krishna over here. So, in that manner, my Guruji fulfilled of having this shaligram with us. So it doesn't matter to whom it belongs, but where it has to come, how it has to come, when they have to get that puja, the worship, or whatever the respect, I don't know, whatever the offering that they have to get, or they have to be taken care of, it will come to the right hand, and it will come to the right place. So this is how the great masters work, and it is very sweet how it arrived. And today, even my Guruji student is quite pleased, because for him there needs to be somebody who can, take care of them very well, because they have worshipped for longer time, and it's come from some, their own great guru, or so they also have been worshipping for so many years. So for them, it has to be in the safe hands. What hand can it be better than being with my Guruji? where it's worshipped and taken care of. It's just his glance is so beautiful on it that they are literally right there. The power of the divine exists in it. So this is how the Gurujis work. This is how my great master worked. So this happened to me, and you wouldn't believe how beautiful it was. I was in tears. I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "Krishna Ma, thank you so much. It cannot be a better way than this. How beautiful are your ways." I didn't even fathom that there is Shaligram in your student's house and someday it's going to come. So everything happens at God's appointed timing in its own beautiful manner. So never think that you want something and if you don't get it, you feel bad, sad. Don't ever do that. The Guru is all knowing. The God knows what is your innermost being. When you're only seeking God, so you think they will not come? Of course, when they have to come in the rightful manner, they will come. So this is the moral of the story. So whatever one hears cannot be digested unless it is reflected on. In addition, if contemplation upon it also does not follow, all that listening becomes purposeless. Hemant surrenders to Sai with great reverence, bows his head at Sai's feet, which are the means of all the means, and the narration to flow will take its own course. So we've entered the chapter 29. Let's begin with chapter 30. A narration of stories about vows. O merciful Sai, always affectionate that you are to the devotees and the abode of kindness, you who dispel the devotees' fear of worldly life by your mere darshan and ward off their calamities, to you I bow in obeisance. O Sainath, the most excellent among the saints, in the beginning you were without form or attributes, but later, being woven by the thread of your devotees' love and devotion, you appeared endowed with form and attributes. Upliftment of their devotees has always been the inevitable mission of the saints, and you are the Acharya of all the saints. It is therefore your inevitable mission too. Those who hold fast to your feet will have all their sins destroyed. Their earlier influences, good and purifying, rise to the surface and their path becomes clear and fearless. Even the Brahmins from the holy places of pilgrimage remember your holy feet and come to recite the Gayatri Mantra with proper rites and rituals and to read Pothis and Puranas in your presence. What do we of little strength and no purifying influences know of devotion? Yet, even if all others abandon us, Sai will never forsake us. He who receives his grace will enjoy power inconceivably great, the treasure of discriminating knowledge between the self and non-self, and with that will come enlightenment. So this is only with the grace of the Guru. Moksha Moolam Gurur Kripam. Devotion also only with the grace of the Guru. But you have to put your effort. When you put your effort, things will become easy because the Guru will, take you across and he will sail you through. Don't even worry. But you have to constantly keep at it. You have to every single day do what you have to do. Do your part of the deal. Rest, the divine will take care. Why bother? The intense desire to hear the words from Sai's lips makes the devotees go crazy, and his every word being firmly imprinted on their minds, with great faith, they seek the experience of the truth of his words. Sainath knows well the wishes of his devotees and satisfies them too. The devotees also experience fulfillment through these. O Sainath, come speedily to my rescue. I bow my head in entreaty at your feet. Forgetting all my faults, do ward off the worries and anxieties of this servant of yours. Thus, distressed by the many calamities, the devotee who remembers Sainath will find in him the one and only solace to his anxious, perturbed mind. It was Sai, the ocean of kindness, who bestowed favor on me, by virtue of which alone I have been able to present this most auspicious book to the readers. Or else, what was my authority, and who would have taken upon himself this most difficult task? But when Sai himself takes the responsibility of his own work, what burden can it be to me? When Sai Samarth, the light of knowledge and the destroyer of darkness of ignorance, is there to illumine my speech, why should I have any doubts? Absolutely. I've just before I started this Parayan, I've always had this doubt, how will I be able to narrate or explain anything? I'm not capable of giving expositions when the greatest of the Lord Almighty, the knowledge incarnate, is literally right in front of me, who I am or what I am. So these are the doubts that kept coming. Every single day I feel like I'm going, like I keep telling you this, I feel I'm writing my examination here, and my Guruji, after he listens to the satsang, he'll come and say, you made this mistake, or you didn't say this right, the pronunciation of this word is not correct. In Marathi, it is said like this, you have to pronounce it like this. So he will always come and give the feedback, and he said, no, you need to do it this way, you have to say it in this way. So that's how the Guruji teaches. That's a training. This is a training ground itself, okay? But I know my speech, whatever the words have to be narrated, the words have to flow from my mouth, is the words of my Guruji's wisdom. This body has no knowledge. I will never say that I have any knowledge or I am capable. It is my Guruji's grace, it's the words are of his wisdom alone. I am but mere an instrument. But he'll say one very important thing. You have to go study, you have to put effort. Even this morning, I was feeling a little, terrible, not because I'm not capable. It is because I haven't, during my childhood or during the years in my college or in my life, I did not put that effort or have that curiosity to go learn a lot more. My Guruji, my Krishna Guruji, just at the age of 4 and 6, he had already read so many books. So he had passion, he had cultivated that habit of reading voraciously. And he was just giving me a beautiful story about how he would, visit his grandfather, and they would sit and talk. And after that, his grandfather would just leave him there, and he will spend time reading about the most beautiful things. Example, today we were talking about the most famous garden of Babylon. And he was saying like that there are different things. So you need to go and learn about it. See, if you take one subject, you have to become, he'll say you have to become Kida. Kida means you have to become a insect or a worm and go and dig deeper and understand the subject. This is how my Guruji will read. He will never have surface level knowledge. He's a master of every subject. You ask him any subject, he can just explain so well, not just explain about it. He can give you the genesis, he can give you history, geography, over literally in and out. He can explain to you that subject so deep he's read, So not just because he's even the Lord Almighty, but his own as the individual, he's always done that. So he has practiced, he has programmed himself to be that. He has trained his mind. He's a genius. His intellect is amazing. You can't even compare. So I was sitting with him and I told him, what? Looking at you, I feel terrible. I just wish I'm just 0.1% of who you are. He said, don't give me this. Every single time you come and tell me this, you have to make an effort. Go retrain your mind. The same capability rests within you too. Empowerment is within you. It's not outside. You have to train. So every single day when you train, you will become. Someday you will understand how to get there. But without even making an effort, without even trying, without even doing something, if you say I don't have, how does it work? So he gave me his story about how he has gone and read the entire library. That's amazing. That's brilliant. I would have read one book, two books, and that too what? I would have read comics. I did not put effort in getting the knowledge. But my Guruji put efforts in getting that knowledge, and he showed that 2 books from his childhood days, which is there with him. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go read that. At least learn about it. There is no harm. And one thing is very important. There is no age to learning. Please know this, and you don't have to feel small. Yeah, the mind will always show you the downside of life. But the upside is what? Yes, I have an opportunity right now. Can I go and study? Can I put in effort? It is better late than never. I can do it right now. This is what my Guruji has always taught. And it is very, very beautiful. So every little thing that he teaches has so immense power. The knowledge is amazing. And today, he'll call, today's world, and he'll always say this, today people don't want to put effort. Everybody wants to learn at a surface level. And this is what my Guruji says, don't be that. Go into that subject, understand, learn, put your heart and soul. You have to keep at it. Don't stop. There is no stop button. As long as this body exists, you have to learn. Learning is a must, no matter whether it is spiritual, whether it is professional. Keeping yourself abreast of what is happening in the world is extremely important. So my Guruji, day and night, if you look at him, if you see him at any point in time when he's not giving satsang or when he's not resting or doing any work, the one thing he'll keep doing is reading. It'll be either spiritual books or it'll be, reading about different things that is happening, either is on the phone. So this is how he does. What is he doing? Like Lord Shri Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, I have nothing to come here and do anything, I have nothing to achieve in my world, yet I do. Why? Because I set an example so that the world can follow. Exactly what my Guruji also does. He's setting an example so that we all can become disciplined and we can follow. Every single day I feel miserable. Oh well, look at my Guruji, he does so much and here I am. I'm struggling, I'm trying to, manage, and yet I'm not able to complete. No. Someday you will have to get there. So train yourself and keep practicing. This is a very important lesson. Those who are listening, please know this. It is extremely important even for yourself in your own life. And then you will understand the power of who you are, the divinity within you, the capability that is vested inside of you. You have to unravel your hidden potentials. With total reliance on the all-merciful God, I did not experience even the slightest fatigue. By His grace, my heart's desire is satisfied. This service to the saint in the form of this book is really the accumulated merit of my past. And so blessed, so fortunate am I that you, O God, should have accepted this humble service from me. In the last chapter, you have heard how Sai, the compassionate one, instructed his devotees by giving them visions of different types. Now in the present chapter also, listen to the most interesting and joyous tale of a worshipper of the goddess Saptashringi. Listen respectfully to this marvel of how gods and goddesses entrust their own devotees to the care of the saints. There are numerous stories of Maharaj, one more wonderful than the other. Listen attentively to this story, which is worth listening to. This is not just a story, it is the drink of nectar. It will bring you great satisfaction and will also bring out Sai's greatness and all-pervasiveness. The hypercritical and the logicians should not go after these stories. What is needed here is not argument and counter-argument, but boundless, profound love. The listener should be a jnani and yet be devoted, full of faith and utterly trusting, or a servant of the saints. To all others, these stories will appear unreal. This Kalpataru of Sai's Leela is undoubtedly one that blossoms into flower and fruit. But only that devotee who is of a powerful good fortune will be able to bring those flowers and fruit down from the tree. I hope you understood this verse. I'm going to read once again. This Kalpataru of Sai's Leelas is undoubtedly one that blossoms into fruit and flower. But only that devotee who's of a powerful good fortune, you need to have that good fortune, that merit, that grace, will be able to bring that flowers and fruit down from the tree, not otherwise. What does that fruit and flower mean is that knowledge, that grace, that spiritual wheel you will be able to bring down. So you will be able to attain that, but you have to seek for that grace. This is very important. Seeking is a must. And when you sincerely seek, when the God Almighty is pleased, then you will get that grace. And when you have the grace, the Guru finds you, you don't find the Guru. You will be channeled to the right one. And I will always be very grateful. At that right time, my Guruji found me. I came to him. Baba then said, he sent me to my Guruji. He said, go to Radha Krishna Mai's school. And I didn't know who this Radha Krishna Mai was, having known him for so many years. But on the day of Janmashtami, Lord Shri Krishna came in my life. My Guruji came. My Lord Shri Krishna came in the form of my Guruji and gave me that Bhagavad Gita, knowledge open. That is how it is. That good fortune has to come. At that right time, when you have that good fortune, then you will be able to bring those flowers and fruit down from the tree. Listen, oh listen, to these most sacred stories, which are the chief among all the means for the spiritual seekers in the attainment of moksha and most beneficial to all. Drinking the nectar of Sai stories in an effortless upliftment of the dull-witted creatures, it is the solace of those engaged in the activities of the worldly life. And to the spiritual seekers, it is the means of attaining moksha. While presenting one story here, many others come to mind. Hence, with great humility, Hemad calls upon the listeners to listen to them carefully, narrating these stories one after the other. In this manner, their interest and enjoyment in the Leelas will grow. Those suffering in the forest fire of the worldly life will get comfort and satisfaction. Such is the great power of Sai. In the village Bani, in the Nasik district, there lived one Kakaji Vaidya, who was the priest in the temple of the goddess there. The name of the goddess was Saptashrungi. This priest had become very restless in his mind, being harassed by the many trials and tribulations of worldly life. When the wheel of fortune brings adversity, the mind also begins to spin like the whirlpool. The body runs helter-skelter, allowing not a moment's peace. Owing to this, Kakaji became very sad at heart and, going to the temple, began entreating the goddess to have mercy on him and liberate him from the worries and anxiety. He prayed for help with all his heart. The goddess too was pleased to see his devotion. The same night he had a vision. Listen, O listeners, to this marvel. Mother Saptashrungi, the goddess, appeared in Kakaji's dream, saying, "Go to Baba and your mind will become calm and steady." With an eager hope that the goddess will further clarify who this Baba was and where to find him, he waited. But at that moment, he suddenly opened his eyes. His desire to know remained unsatisfied, and the dreaming state disappeared at once. Then Kakaji used his own reason as to who this Baba could be that she had mentioned. Maybe Baba is Trimbakeshwar. Kakaji resolved in his mind, and he set out at once and took this darshan. Yet the restlessness of his mind would not go. At Trimbakeshwar, Kakaji spent 10 days, but to the end, he remained sad. His mind could not find peace or happiness. The restlessness would not leave the mind. Its agitation would not disappear. Day after day, the disquiet, the anxiety grew. So Kakaji set out on his return journey. Daily he would bathe at dawn, recite the Rudra repeatedly, perform the Abhishek on the Shivalinga, but his mind still remained restless. Again he went at the goddess' door, saying, "Why did you send me to Trimbakeshwar? Please make my mind steady and peaceful at least now. Oh, spare me these journeys to and fro." In a piteous tone, he thus besieged the goddess for help. The goddess appeared to him that night, saying in a vision, "The Baba I mentioned is Sai Satcharita of Shirdi. Why did you needlessly go to Trimbakeshwar? I do not understand." You know how sweet. That's very cute. Where is this Shirdi and how does one go there? I do not know who this Baba is, nor do I understand how this trip to Shirdi is going to come about. But he who is absorbed at the Sai saint's feet and has in his heart a keen desire for this darshan, his wish will be fulfilled not only by the saints but by God himself. Absolutely true. You know, when you have that faith and when you trust, that trip will come to be. And it only happens at the right moment. And this is something I keep telling people and everybody. You know, you can aspire, you can wish, but till the calling doesn't come, you can't go there. So only when the right time comes, when the calling comes, can you go there. And such is one of my very beautiful trips to Vrindavan. I will narrate it later, but let's first see what happens here. He who is a saint is also God Almighty. Absolutely. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. So don't forget that. There is not even the slightest difference between the two, or rather to consider them as separate is duality, whereas saints are one with God. I will go all by my own effort, for the saints' darshan and thus fulfill my own desire. To say so is only one's conceit and want. Inconceivable indeed are the workings of these saints. One without the saints really desiring it, who can go for their darshan? It is wonderful how without their authority, not a leaf on the tree will move. Absolutely. Even a blade of grass will not move without the will of the divine. Such is the power of the divine. As the eagerness for darshan, as is faith and devotion, so is also the intensity of the blissful experience of that excellent devotee. Here Kakaji was worried as to how he could go for Sai's darshan. While there arrived the guest from Shirdi in search of his address. And was the guest any ordinary person? Oh no, it was he whom Baba liked better than anybody else. whose love for Baba defied comparison with anyone else's and whose authority too was very great. His name was Madhav Rao and Deshpande, his Vatan, who alone and no one else could coax Baba using fond language. There would forever be loving disputes between them, and they addressed each other in a familiar way. For Madhav Rao, Baba had an extraordinary affection, as if he was his own child. And such was the guest who had arrived that very moment at Vani. Absolutely. See, you need to understand something, okay? Every master, every guru on this planet Earth, they have their closest of the devotees. They have the closest of the disciples who are very, very dear to them. See, their love is the same for this entire universe, okay? But you take anybody, you take Shri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa ji. His favorite was Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda. Likewise, Swami Brahmananda. So they're all his favorites. So there are very few who will be his favorite. Like Rakhal was Ramakrishna Paramhamsa ji's favorite. Likewise, Swami Vivekananda. And also if you take Sai Baba, here it is mentioned, Madhav Rao was and Deshpande were very, very favorite of him. He loved them a lot. Likewise, Tatya as well. So there were very few of them who were very close to Baba who served Sai Baba till the end of his life. Like Baijabai. Every single day, she would take the meal for Sai Baba and he will never have the food before her. One of the very famous dish, the bharit would come. She would make them, and Baba loved it a lot. So like this, every Guruji has his special love for those who serve his purpose and who are going to carry forward his lineage and legacy, and take forward his entire teaching in this world. So so this is a very interesting thing, and please, you should always know that. So don't get jealous or don't feel like, oh, Baba is favoring somebody. It's not like that. Baba, everybody is equivalent to Baba. Baba doesn't favor one and he treats somebody else. No. Even if you're his favorite or not favorite, he will give you the same thing. What is due to come to you will anyways come to you. Whatever is due to you in terms of knowledge, grace, whatever is your innermost heart's desire, he will fulfill it at the right moment. But yes, there are his favorites, and that is for sure. Every guru has this. So don't feel jealous or don't try to compare. And please know that each one has earned that position. My Guruji will always say, everybody gets a chance, but it is one who takes it and earns it. You have to be deserving and you have to earn it. It doesn't come like that. But never feel that ego also. See, on another side is, if you are the chosen one and you are his favorite of the disciple or the devotee and the student, never think that I am the greatest. No, this I cannot be the greatest. Yes, you have to keep putting your effort without having this pride and arrogance, thinking that I am the greatest who is doing this. My Guruji will beautifully puncture that, especially in me. He will never let my mind to ever think like that. I'll tell you very cutely how does he do. Very subtly he does this. Janmashtami puja happened. We put a lot of effort, right? Everything we want to celebrate in the most perfect manner, running here, there, making sure those flowers come, trying to, all of us, the ashram made Chitti and a few others who would be there. We all put a lot of efforts in making this happen. How does my Guruji puncture the ego? After all the puja is done, he'll never appreciate, please know this, he'll never appreciate or say he's pleased. For him, the one very important thing is you need to be able to keep up to the time. That is all he cares about, and the food has to be served on time. All that has to be done, perfectly in time. It's extremely important. He doesn't like anything to be delayed. So after all that finishes, we'll take his blessings and all that. After all the blessings, food is being served, everything is over, he quietly comes and tells me, don't think that you did something great. If I can make you do, I can make anybody else also do. So this is his way of puncturing. And he himself has taught this very beautiful lesson. See, I give everybody an opportunity and I watch. If you do not put your effort in doing that, then you fail. So I watch people. I'm looking, this is something we do this. My Guruji will do. I'm watching. He's very cute. And then he told me this. Absolutely no matter what, that is punctured. Why he does this? There is a very beautiful meaning. You should never feel I did it, this I should never come. On the contrary, you just have to feel very humble and feeling absolutely, with goodness of heart and love, that you're just getting an opportunity to serve. That is how you have to feel. Most important, Lord Shri Krishna has taught nishkam karma, selflessly serving, not with an arrogance or ego. That is a detrimental thing. Never have the pride thinking that you're doing. See, this is what my Guruji has very beautifully taught, that when you understand the purpose, when you know who you are and what is the purpose of your existence, then this I, the pride, the thinking that I am doing will not exist. So, because the mind shouldn't come and feel elated thinking, oh, you did something great, he'll puncture that so that your mind doesn't come there. Never should your mind and ego come, because then whatever you have done will become worthless. 1 minute, it's gone. You've destroyed it just because of your ego and pride. Whatever the goodness, that hard work that you have put in will vanish away, will wipe out everything that you've done in that one pride of yours. So always be vigilant. Never let your mind take any credit or get elated thinking that I've done something great. No. That is why Lord Shri Krishna says, right, I am the doer should never be the case. Don't think you are the doer, and don't even be bothered about what is the end result. You just have to do nishkarma karma, selflessly serve, and be very good in that job. Even if it is prayer, celebrating, you have to be the best. My Guruji will always teach us this. You have to put in your best foot forward and best effort. When you're serving the God, how beautifully you want to serve Him. Put all your heart and soul in serving Him. That is what it is. See, when we go buy some garments, we are seeing hundreds of saris, and then you're choosing the best, right? Like that, you serve the Lord. Choose the best of the flowers from Him, for Him. Bring the best of the things. Offer the best that exists in your own capability. See, somebody can afford whatever, right? $1 million. Somebody can only afford one pie, or somebody can afford just 10 rupees or 100 rupees or $1, or someone can offer only a leaf of tulsi. But see, everything is the same to the Lord. The Lord only sees your innermost being, the love that you have. Just a leaf of tulsi is good enough. Actually, my Guruji has very beautifully explained this as part of Srimad Bhagavatam. In that, Satyabhama, Lord Shri Krishna's wife, she's also believed to be the incarnation of Radha herself, right? She manifests as Radha. She's born as Radha, Satyabhama, once Radha leaves the body. Now, Satyabhama always wants to be with Lord Shri Krishna. And she has this thing about, I want to do everything for my Lord, okay? She wants to fight, she wants to give him the best, all that. But in that, see that the stories can be seen in multi-dimensional way. One of the most important things in that is taught is, Satyabhama is a very haughty. The way they portrayed Satyabhama is not right. And one day my Guruji gave this very beautiful story about her. Amongst all the wives of Lord Shri Krishna, it is she who takes care of Lord Shri Krishna. It is she who serves him, and she who goes and does everything for him. In everybody else's case, it's the Lord who does things for them. And also, to also teach the right lesson, that you cannot have pride, there is a beautiful story about the Tulabharana, where she makes Lord Shri Krishna sit on one side. It's a weighing scale, right? On other side, she wants to offer all the gold and in equivalent, and then she wants to give it. So she wants to show, that she's very great. She does a lot of things for Lord Shri Krishna. But Lord Shri Krishna is Shri Krishna. To break her pride. This also to teach that you can't do anything with arrogance, your gold, wealth. You can't show the power of your wealth, gold, and all these things to God. It is about love. And at that time, no matter how much gold she keeps pouring on one side, Krishna's weight doesn't come. The gold is always on the other. It doesn't come equal. It's not happening. So she's very upset. She doesn't know what to do. So it is a way to show how to break her ego, And then she goes, asks Rukmini, what am I supposed to do? And then Rukmini says, just put one leaf of tulsi on that and see what happens. And then she puts one leaf of tulsi. Then the weight on the other side goes up. That is what it is. So what it means here, this lesson, the teaching that you need to take is, you need to always have humility, humbleness, and never show your pride of your money or ego of what you can or what you can do and all that. It is with pure love. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna has very beautifully said, when you offer just a leaf of tulsi with that love and devotion, I will I will very happily accept it. That is all I care about. So whether it is gold, whatever that you offer, give it with that absolute love, not with ego and pride. So always remember this lesson. There would forever be loving disputes between them, and they addressed each other in a familiar manner. For Madhavrao, Baba had an extraordinary affection, as if he was his own child. And such was the guest who had arrived that very moment at Vani. When her child fell ill, the mother had said to the goddess in supplication, I commit this infant to your protection and care. It is now up to you to preserve and or destroy. When my child recovers, I will most certainly place him on your feet. After such a vow was made to the goddess, the child did recover. But be he the Vaidya, be he God himself, once the purpose is served, they are forgotten. The vow is remembered only in the time of trouble, and when it thus remains unfulfilled, there is a reason to fear. Days, months, years passed by. The vow was completely forgotten. At last, when the mother was nearing her end, she entreated Madhavrao. Years ago, I had made this vow, but the delay in its fulfillment has at last brought us to this day. Such postponement, so much delay is not good. So please go for the darshan of the goddess. There was another vow that the mother had made to the goddess. She was suffering from boils on both her breasts, and the pain was just unbearable. O mother, I prostrate before you in entreaty. If you will relieve me from this pain and suffering, I shall offer 2 silver breasts at your feet, waving them over you. That vow had still remained unfulfilled, being postponed from time to time. That too, the mother now remembered at the time of her death. So she reminded Babya, Madhavrao, of this too. And taking from him a promise that he would fulfill it, she merged at the feet of Hari, having become desireless. Further postponement followed. Days, months, years passed. Madhavrao had forgotten all about it, and the vows remained unfulfilled. After 30 years had passed in this way, it so happened that an astrologer arrived in Shirdi in the course of his travels. He had a deep knowledge of astrology and could read the past, future, and present. He had satisfied the curiosity of many and had received a wide acclaim. He had at once satisfied Srimad Buddhi and others by predicting their future. Babaji, Madhavrav's younger brother, also asked him to predict his future. When the astrologer told him that the goddess was displeased with him, he said, your mother had asked your elder brother to fulfill her vows at the time of her death. But till today, they have not been fulfilled, and so to the goddess is giving you trouble. When Madhavrao came home, Babaji told him the whole story. Madhavrao at once got the sign. He called the goldsmith and got 2 silver breasts made from him, which he then took to the mosque. Prostrating before Baba, he placed those 2 breasts before him, saying, please get the vows fulfilled from me. You are our Saptashringi. So you are the goddess for us. Please accept this promised gift and be pacified. Baba replied, go to Saptashringi temple and with your own hands offer these finely wrought breasts which are for her at her feet. See, there are reasons, when the Gurujis tell you to do something, like Madhavrao did the very right thing. He came to Baba and placed it at his feet. You are that goddess yourself. You are everything for us. Please accept this. But there is a reason. So Baba says, no, you have to go to that particular temple and you have to do. Even my Guruji, he'll remind certain people, no, go to this particular temple and do this prayer over there. There is a reason why that is important. Not because that they have to go, but there is a reason that respect, that deity has to be given. The God has to be given that respect, and you have to fulfill certain things. So it is very important. And in this case, the reason why Baba is also sending Madhavrao, not just to only fulfill his vow, but he has to meet somebody else. So you become an instrument of the God. You are the instrument of the Guru. So see what happens next. So, but you have to always take the Guru's permission. When the Guru says you go do this, then everything will fall in place. They know what is right. They understand things in much deeper manner which you have no view to. So always listen to whatever instruction they give you. Such being Baba's insistence and the inclination of Madharav's mind also becoming the same, he left home resolved to go for the darshan. He took Baba's darshan, praying for his blessings, and taking Baba's Udi Prasad, set out with his permission. He arrived at Saptashringi and began the search for his family priest. As luck would have it, it was Kakaji's house that he reached quite effortlessly. This is how the connection happens. And now, through Madhav, Kakaji will know who Sai Baba is. And then he will be able to fulfill his the vision which the goddess has given, saying, go to Baba in Shirdi. Here was Kakaji most eager for Baba's darshan. And just then, this meeting with Madharav also came about. Was this any commonplace happening? Of course not. It is the will of the divine. That is how it is programmed. Kakaji then inquired who he was, from where he had come, etc. And when he learned that Madhav had come from Shirdi itself, his joy knew no bounds. Both jumped at this remarkable coincidence. In this way, pleased at heart, they both completed the ritual for fulfilling the vow, after which the priest set out for Shirdi. The priest was very happy for this unexpected and distinguished company as that of Madhav. His attention was now fully directed to the journey to Shirdi. As they returned after completing the rites and rituals of the vow, they both quickly left for Shirdi, full of love and eagerness for Sai's darshan. The earlier state of eagerness and fondness of Kakaji's mind was matched with the haste with which they set out, reaching soon the banks of Godavari, from where Shirdi is quite near. The priest made obeisance at Baba's feet, bathing them in the tears that flowed from his eyes. Happiness and peace was restored to his mind by Baba's darshan. It was for this purpose that the goddess had appeared in the vision. The moment Kakaji set his eyes on Sai Samarth, he experienced true joy. His heart's wish was fulfilled. Kakaji was thus pleased with happiness on taking Sai's darshan. His heart was pleased as Baba's grace was showered on him. The mind became truly relieved of all the worry. So Baba says, why fear when I'm here? So you don't have to bother at all. Everything will fall in place. Everything will be fine. When you have surrendered to the lotus feet of the Guru, they will take care of your life. Don't even be bothered. Just do what you are supposed to do. The restless, agitated ceased to his own great astonishment, and he exclaimed to himself, oh, what extraordinary Leela is this? Not a word has he spoken to me, nor asked me any questions. He did not even pronounce a benediction. It was just his darshan that has brought me so much joy. My restless, doubting mind was calmed merely by his darshan, and I have attained a unique state of happiness. This is indeed the great significance of his darshan. His eyes were riveted on Baba's feet, holding the words captive, and as the ears listened to Baba's stories, the abounding joy could not be contained within. As the priest humbly surrendered to Baba with all faith and devotion, he experienced an inner bliss which made him forget the earlier restless agitation of mind. In this way, Kakaji stayed on in Shirdi for 12 days, and his mind, having become steady and peaceful, returned to Saptashringi. Dreams, in order to come true, must come at a particular time. Those at daybreak or 48 minutes before the breaking of the dawn are fruitful. Others are in vain. Such is the general belief. But as for the dreams associated with Shirdi, whenever or wherever they come, they always come true. Such is the unfailing experience of devotees. So with this, we'll stop here before we start the next story, as we are at the end of the hour today. I hope you understood how things are done miraculously. Sometimes a dream, sometimes a vision, but whatever vow you take, you have to always fulfill. That was the lessons we learned today, and how the divine himself gets it done at the perfect timing. So this is extremely important so that you don't incur any sins. And also, dreams, which comes with the divinity alone is true, but not what you're dreaming in the normal sense. Many a time my Guruji will say, people come and think that I'm someone who will explain what the dream means. They come and ask, oh, I dreamt this, so what does it mean? So dreams also, see, you need to understand dreams are the creations of the mind. It is only when you get the vision of the divine or the gurus come in the dream, they come because they have to instruct you, not otherwise. So not every dream of yours is true, or it is going to happen, or it has come to be. Those are all just the creation of your mind. You need to understand. And this is very beautifully explained by my Guruji in Bhagavad Gita. And he has explained this, how you should never believe in dreams. But dreams, only when it is relating to the divine or the Lord Almighty or your Guru, then there is a reason, not otherwise. So with this, we'll end the chapter here and the lesson today. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan once again. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Om Shri Gurudev Datta, Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara, Om Shri Krishna Gurunathanatha Shri Guruve Namaha, Om Devi Durgaya Namaha, Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu, Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru.